neutral road running shoe. Testing is done, Ride 17. All right, there you have it. Nice out there. A little chilly, but we're getting it done for everybody. There's the quick specs of the Ride 17. Soak them in. Okay, we'll come back to the weight, especially here in a second. And there you go, butter to bread. And well, let's stick it in right now, actually. I hope you survived the last 2 or 3 days well, getting your runs in through the frigid temperatures all across the United States. And I don't know what it's doing around the world, but it was very, very cold here in Colorado these past 2 or 3 days. So here are my thoughts out there in the tundra. Quick update out here in the field. Testing is done for the Ride 17. First of all, it was colder in Denver yesterday than it was in Antarctica. Thought that was pretty interesting. Hope you were still able to get your workout in. But for the Ride 17, the number one word after testing that's hitting me is durability. Midsole, outsole, and the upper. Probably that would be third place upper. But man, I feel like they really nailed the quality, the construction, the material being used, and the density of that midsole of the Ride 17. I love it. I love it. Also, heel counter is just butter. Just perfect. Great jobs. I mean, it's not like, it's not a fun shoe. This is not the Speed, not the Rebel, but it's a solid daily trainer that I'll just say, I'd buy way more quickly than the Supernova Rise from Adidas. All right, back to the studio. I used to take a little notebook and jot notes down, when I was right done with my final run of whatever shoe I might be testing. But just because I do test a lot of shoes, and so just to keep them all straight. And then I switched over to voice messages on my phone, and then I realized, you know what? Let's just film a quick little video for the gut reaction. So I'm going to continue to include these gut reactions like right after the runs out there in the field. And so durability, we'll come back to that in a minute. All right, there you have it. Now, all right, let's go to the upper right. Simple engineered mesh, not crazy high breathability. And in this colorway, in the dead of summer, if it was really hot, I foresee this upper feeling a little warm. I'm thinking of like Phoenix, Arizona type of deal. But the upper is fine. Eyelet chain, fine. Nothing to write home about. It gets the job done. It is a semi-gusset through that tongue. Okay, there you go, Saucony. But certainly the highlight is that heel counter. They really nailed it. I love the heel counter, Saucony. It just is smooth as butter. It's not quite an elf heel or a heel flare, but it's approaching, and it just really hugged the Achilles tendon nicely. Nice, and it's not quite plush, but man, I think it's perfect. All right, so good work there on the Ride 17. Saucony pull tab for when your fingers are frozen. All right, so I always appreciate a little bit of a pull tab there. PWRRUN Plus midsole, and a little higher, I'm a little surprised that the Ride 17 durometer was in the mid 40s, I do believe. Let's just see, maybe the Triumph 20, yeah, see, that's saying 39, 40. So it feels a little more firm, and sure enough, I don't think it's bouncy. I think it's a good shoe, gets the job done. I love PWRRUN Plus, really love it. But it didn't feel definitely not quite as peppy as the Triumph, personally, all right? But it is the same material being used. And then I don't know in the production process at the factory, how they, it's like, basically creating the density, creating the durometer of these midsoles. Is it just the injection process into the molds? And then how much, PWRRUN Plus foam they jam into that mold it's fascinating to me. I would love, in fact, where is it being made here? I bet it's Vietnam, because a lot of shoes are made there. This one is in China. Okay, so there you go, Saucony Ride 17. I enjoyed the midsole, but it's not jumping off the pavement at me, okay? Just getting the miles in, but better than the Supernova Rides from Adidas. I'll definitely say that much. All right, there you go. There's scores for the midsole and outsole. Perfect. Just nailed it. Not too much rubber, and I think it'll grip decent on wet pavement. Decent. All right, decent. Again, we don't get a ton of rain here, but if you do, as I already said, 400 miles plus, I want to see pictures of that outsole, because I think the durability is going to be very high. All right, and in fact, it is the XT900 rubber, all right, which is a little bit of the higher grade rubber from Saucony for their outsoles. It's just, I like their approach. Oh, I'm thinking 400, and I would say 500-600. I'm not joking. Now, will the midsole last 500 or 600? I'm not positive, but definitely that outsole, it's feeling like that, just like high quality construction and material uses there. Okay, remember the quick specs, back to the weight, fit, comfort, durability. All right, I'll just put them all on the screen right now. I know it's a low score for the weight. I realize that. I don't want you to think like, don't go buy the shoe. It's just, I gotta be, for a daily trainer. It's a daily trainer. I wouldn't use it necessarily. You could use it for a long run. Definitely, I wouldn't use it for a tempo shoe, too heavy. But don't be afraid of a shoe. I'm just comparing it to the other shoes in the rotation and that we've been more recently testing, and it's just a little on the heavier side, but it's okay. Like, I can notice, because I do test so many shoes, I can notice the difference in a half an ounce. I really can. Like today out there, I was like, you know what, this is a fine shoe, but I'm not ready to go rock and roll a tempo run in this shoe. It's just a little too heavy. So just wanted to clarify that. That's why the score is a 4, because there's other shoes that are fairly significantly like over an ounce lighter in this classification. Okay, and that's okay. One last point. I classify the shoes long run, tempo, easy. Now there's tweeners, all right, that do both, but that's why you can't compare a long run weight score to a tempo run weight score. It just doesn't make sense like that. All right, so just quick clarification there. Fit, comfort, not the most comfortable, and it's mostly the upper. It's a little more on the simpler side with respect to the upper. All right, full review scores on your screen. All right, kind of a standard score, but it's not bad. 7 out of 10 is not bad. And I think I actually forgot to show you the price point. $140. I like it. It's not perfect. Not perfect by any means, but I like it because that durability is higher. All right, so some shoes I will test, and the price point, it's a reflection of that durability, because you can just tell, like the midsole is creasing, maybe there's already a tear in the upper, like there's so many factors that go into the durability of a shoe, with the midsole, outsole, et cetera, and then if the price is $160, you're like, oh gosh, if I'm only gonna get 250 miles out of this, is the value very good at 100? So for 140, I'm excited. All right, there you go. Comment of the day. All right, I think it's CS Runner 7 over in the UK talking about his experience, or her, I'm not sure, his or her experience in the Ride lineup. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I would buy it again. I actually would buy it again at that price point. I think it's a fun. I think it really could knock out a ton of miles in the daily training category. Onward and upward. All right, enjoy that snow out there. Seek beauty, work hard, and love each other.